Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Arrow, for your nice new hairstyle and for the long skirt you are wearing today. In fact, today we will take a longer time than normal because the subject needs examples and exercises.
It appears to be an interesting subject. What is it about, H. de Boer?
It is about measurement of inventory at a lower of cost or market, LCM. As previously mentioned, inventory accounted for using LIFO or retail method under the GAAP must be written down to market if its utility is no longer as great as its cost. The excessive cost over market is recognized as a loss on write-down in the income statement.
What does the market in this context mean?
Market in this context is the current replacement cost subject to certain limitations.
What these certain limitations are?
These are two limitations. Market or the current replacement cost should 1. Not exceed the ceiling equal net realizable value, NRV. 2. Not less than a floor equal to net realizable value reduced by an allowance for an approximately normal profit margin.
What the net realizable value or NRV is?
Net realizable value is the estimated selling price in the ordinary course of business, minus reasonably predictable cost of completion, cost of disposal, and transportation.
We understand that the current replacement cost is not to be greater than the net realizable value, the ceiling, or less than net realizable value minus a normal profit, the floor, in order to represent the market rate. If one of the two limitations is not met, a market rate may be represented either by the ceiling or the floor depending on each case. Is this correct?
Yes, it is correct.
We also understand that we should first select the rate that represents the market among the three rates of 1. The current replacement cost, 2. The net realizable value, the ceiling, and 3. The net realizable value minus the normal profit, the floor, in accordance with the limitations mentioned previously. The second step is to compare the selected market rate with the historical cost and choose the lower one as the inventory new cost basis.
You are absolutely correct. For better understanding, we will discuss an example of 3 scenarios to cover 3 probabilities of what rate represents the market and what lower rate to be used for measuring an inventory item. Let's start with scenario 1 for an inventory item A. Assume that item estimated selling price per unit is $80. Cost of completion and cost of disposal are $20 and $6 respectively. Thus, the net realizable value, the ceiling, is $54. $80 minus $20 minus $6. Also, assume that normal profit is $3. Thus, the net realizable value minus normal profit, the floor, is $51. $54 minus $3. If the current replacement cost is $53, what the rate of the 3 above represents the market? And if the historical cost per unit is $50, what is the rate to be selected to measure item A?
To answer the first question, the current replacement cost of $53 is to be selected as the market rate because it is not greater than the net realizable value, the ceiling, of $54, and it is not less than the net realizable value minus normal profit, the floor, of $51. To answer the second question, in measuring item A, the historical cost of $50 is used because it is lower than the selected market rate of $53.
Your answers are excellent. Let's start in scenario 2 for item B. Assume that item B estimated selling price per unit is $70. Cost of completion and cost of disposal are $0 and $5 respectively. Thus, the net realizable value, the ceiling, is $65. $70 minus $0 minus $5. Also, assume that the normal profit is $7. Thus, the net realizable value minus normal profit, the floor, is $58. $65 minus $7. If the current replacement cost is $55, what rate of the 3 above represents the market? And if the historical cost per unit is $60, what is the rate to be selected to measure item B?
To answer the first question, the net realizable value minus normal profit margin, the floor, of $58 is to be selected as the market rate because the current replacement cost of $55 is less than the floor, while it should not be as required by the statement of rules. Although, the current replacement cost of $55 is not greater than the ceiling of $65, as required by the statement of rules, yet the current replacement cost is not qualified to be the market rate because one of the two limitations has not been met. To answer the second question, in measuring item B, The selected market rate of $58 is used because it is lower than the historical cost of $60.
Your answers are correct. Let's start in scenario 3 for item C. Assume that item C estimated selling price is $44. Cost to completion and cost of disposal are $3 and $2 respectively. Thus, the net realizable value, the ceiling, is $39, $44 minus $3 minus $2. Also, assume that the normal profit margin is $4. Thus, the net realizable value minus normal profit margin, the floor, is $35, $39 minus $4. If the current replacement cost is $40, what the rate of the three above represents the market? And if the historical cost per unit is $45, what is the rate to be used to measure item C?
To answer the first question, the net realizable value, the ceiling, of $39 is to be used as market rate because current replacement cost of $40 is greater than the ceiling, while it should not be as required by the statement of rules. Although, the current replacement cost of $40 is not less than the floor of $35 as required by the statement of rules, yet the current replacement cost is not qualified to be the market rate because one of the two limitations has not been met. To answer the second question, in measuring item C, the selected market rate of $39 is to be used because it is below the historical cost of $45.
Your answers are correct.
I think we need an example that explains measurement of inventory with the associated journal entries.
I promise that this will be made available in the next session.